Let's call this thing to order. Personnel and Finance Committee, Monday, the 18th of October. It is 7:15, and we'll go around to introductions. To my left,
Chris Schubert, HR Director.
nobody on my right, so we'll start with Jennifer.
Jennifer Burton, City Administrator.
Connie Hillman, City Finance Director.
Mike Best, Police Chief.
Tiffany Stingline, Ward 3.
Kevin Stooning, Alderman at Large. We have 4 items on the agenda tonight. First one is from the Police Department, Chief Bestel.
Hey, Mr. Chair, this is a police officer hiring ratification. Police Officer Bryce Johnson has successfully completed the pre-employment screening process. Bryce Johnson's first day was October 11th. Bryce Johnson will start at 2021 step rate of 28.26 pursuant to the LELS, LELS number 65 agreement. So recommendation is to hire police officer Bryce Johnson starting at LELS step 1, 28.26 per hour with an effective date of October 11th, 2021. And just additional information, this puts us at 24 full-time police officers.
You read my mind.
Okay, any discussion from anybody? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion.
I move that we affirm the hiring of Police Officer Bryce Johnson starting at LELS Step 1, rate 28.26 per hour with an effective date of October 11th, 2021.
And I will second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody disagree? All right, next on the agenda, we have Chris Schubert, HR Director.
Happy to report that we reached a tentative agreement with United Steelworkers for our hydro employees, and attached are the tentative agreement summary and supporting documents for the contract. One thing I will let you know is that there was a slight wage adjustment compared to what we originally had. We found an error in Todd's formula, and we have corrected that. So these employees are now at the same level as the other plant operators right away.
Okay.
So, just
Any
to let
discussion from anybody? Anything else, Chris? I guess I'm looking for a motion.
I move to approve the attached 2022-2024 tentative agreement summary and the attached contract supporting documents between the city and USW Union. I'm guessing you want them to be 2 separate.
I would say we use 2 motions, yeah.
Okay.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Another motion?
I move that we adopt the attached resolution setting the USW Union wages. We'll fix that for upstairs for 2022 and 2024.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody disagree? Moving on.
Melissa, you might have somebody that joined us.
I gotta get that.
Oh, well.
All right. We have somebody that's joined us. Do they want to introduce themselves? Michelle Swen.
Cheryl Strand.
Cheryl Swen. Okay, I think, do you want to talk at PNF or do you want to be at the council meeting?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda then is entering into lease agreements prior to the 2022 budget adoption. So we're running into production issues, and we are hoping to enter into the lease agreements now rather than waiting until after the budget has been adopted. The leases that are renewing this year, they will just automatically renew or get extended, or we will get new vehicles ordered, one of the two. So we are asking to authorize staff to enter into agreements with Enterprise to lease vehicles in the proposed budget prior to the 2022 budget being adopted.
So I have a question. So being that we're doing this before the end of the year, is that gonna save us some money?
Yes, we don't pay for the leases
Okay.
until we get the leases
Okay.
anyway. And with what's going on, the message we got from Enterprise was basically like, if for some reason your budget doesn't get adopted with that new street vehicle in there, they can reuse it for another client.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
I'm not worried about the city being on the hook for anything. And so I think this is something that we should do, and it's a good thing for us.
Okay. Anything, Tiffany?
No, I move that we authorize staff to enter into agreements with Enterprise for leased vehicles in the proposed budget prior to the 2022 budget being adopted. Do you want to say like now and that?
If you want to.
Okay.
I mean, basically, we're gonna go tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're gonna sign the lease agreement, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like prior to the 2022 budget could be any time.
Correct,
So-
correct.
Okay, motion on the floor. Any
Yeah.
discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody disagree? Motion goes bye-bye. Last but not least, Connie, I think you got it again.
Do a consulting agreement with Hildy, so we have contracted with Hildy since 2009 to basically do an actuarial study because we have to calculate a liability for other post-employment benefits. So basically, because we have a blended rate for health insurance and we have to have retirees on our health insurance, we pay for a higher rate now than what we did if we would have had banded rates. And so they calculate all this based on our age and what people currently elect, and they get a liability. We do not fund the liability, but we do need to have a study done every 2 years. We've done with Hildy since 2009. We have not done it for RFP since 2009, but Hildy was the cheapest at that point. And when we were talking to the auditors last year, they said they knew a client that had just went out and Hildy still was the cheapest, the lowest price. They have not changed their prices in a couple of years. They know us, they are very good at explaining what the liability is, how it has changed, what impacted, and our auditors do recommend working with Hildy as well, or they did last year, or 2 years ago, sorry.
Any other questions, discussion?
I guess one comment, it's
Okay.
$3,600
For the first
for
year,
this year, or for 2022.
yes, we'll do it in 2022. And then on the off year, they just do a small update, and that costs about $1,000 plus any exhibits. So it's about $3,600 plus exhibits. The city is responsible for about 45 to 50% of that, and BPU, HRA, and the airport also pay for it because we have to break it all down by those entities as well.
Okay, with that in mind,
I move to approve the authorization of signatures on the agreement for consulting services with Hildy Inc. for fiscal year 2022 in the amount of $3,100 plus $500 for exhibits and approximately $800 to $1,000 for fiscal year 2023 services.
perfect. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody disagree? Motion passes. Anything else to bring forward to personnel and finance?
None at this time.
Quick, actually, there's maybe two. The first one, the work session for Monday, staff is not ready to bring back the information. So as far as market adjustments and stuff, we're just not ready for that, number one. Number two, Civil Service Commission. We will be bringing an ordinance for the council's review to basically dissolve that commission. The commission we talked about it and they are okay with that. So we'll be starting that process too. So that'll be on your next agenda.
So then when, by dissolving that commission, if there's issues with police and fire, it'll come to full council or PNF or whatever, okay?
And as Chris mentioned at Civil Service, the last time we had anything come before Civil Service for this was before you were here.
Almost before I was born.
So is there anything we have to do to tweak the charter with that?
No,
Nothing? Okay. So when we get to PNF, do you want, I'll maybe just look at you and you can mention that or?
I guess I was just
Just letting us know.
Okay. I don't think you need to
Fine with me.
discuss it at the next meeting.
and I'm assuming you'll, in your staff report, tell this to the full council as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
And so then when we adjourn, we will not need to adjourn. We'll just need to adjourn to the work session to discuss the parking commission's recommendations, and the continuing discussion of the
Okay.
wage study.
I'll let Kelly know when we get up there.
Okay, anything else with PNF? If not, we will make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, Gagetown.